The game, the man who built an empire with his bare hands, standing face to face with the man who carried WWE on his shoulders for 2 decades, and this time, there are no cameras rolling for a promo. No script. No storyline. Just 2 warriors, 2 brothers, and a moment so raw that even the toughest fans couldn't hold back their tears. John Cena just wrestled his final match at Saturday night's main event, and what Triple H did afterward, nobody saw it coming. Nobody was ready. And if you think you know how this story ends, you don't. Not yet. Before we dive into one of the most emotional moments in wrestling history, I need you to do something for me. I need you to understand that SLAMZONE isn't just a channel. This is your home. This is where we celebrate the moments that matter, the stories that make us feel alive, the matches that remind us why we fell in love with this business in the first place. So if you're someone who lives and breathes professional wrestling, if you want to be part of a community that respects the legacy of this industry, hit that subscribe button right now. Smash that notification bell because you deserve to be here when we break down the moments that make history. And trust me, what happened after Cena's final match? That's the kind of moment we'll be talking about for the rest of our lives. Saturday night's main event. The name itself carries weight. Legends were born there. Careers were defined there. And on this night, one of the greatest to ever lace up a pair of boots was saying goodbye. John Cena, 16-time world champion. The man who refused to give up. The man who carried the company through its most challenging years. The guy who made millions of kids believe in hustle, loyalty, and respect. And now, after everything he's given, after every sacrifice, every injury, every moment he put his body on the line, this was it. The final bell. The last time we'd see him compete in that squared circle. The match itself was everything we could have hoped for. Cena was in there with someone who could give him the send-off he deserved, and from the opening bell, you could feel it. The electricity in that arena wasn't just excitement. It was anticipation mixed with dread, because we all knew what was coming. We knew this was the end. And watching Cena move around that ring, executing every move with the precision of a man who's done this 10,000 times, you couldn't help but feel your chest tighten. This wasn't just another match. This was a farewell. The crowd was deafening. You could hear the dueling chants. Half the arena screaming, "Let's go Cena," and the other half, even now, even at the end, giving him that familiar "Cena sucks." But you know what? Even that chant had love in it. Because that's what Cena represented. He was so good, so consistent, so dependable that even the fans who wanted to see him lose had to respect what he brought every single night. That back and forth energy, that connection with the audience, that's what made him special. That's what made him John Cena. And then came the near falls. Oh my goodness, the near falls. Cena hit the attitude adjustment, and the place exploded. The referee's hand came down. 1, 2, and somehow, his opponent kicked out. The disbelief on Cena's face told the whole story. He knew he had to dig deeper. He knew this wasn't going to be easy. And the fans? They were on their feet, holding their breath, because every single person in that building wanted to see Cena go out on top. They wanted to see him get that one last victory, that one last moment of glory before he walked away forever. The match continued, and you could see the exhaustion setting in. Cena's movements were just a fraction slower. His chest was heaving, but his eyes? His eyes still had that fire, that determination that made him a legend. He pulled himself up in the corner, looked out at the crowd, and you could almost hear him thinking, "One more time. Give me one more time." The 5-knuckle shuffle connected. The place went absolutely insane. And then Cena lifted his opponent up for another attitude adjustment, the move that had won him championships, the move that had defined his career. But here's where it gets heartbreaking. As Cena hoisted his opponent onto his shoulders, you could see him struggling. The years of wear and tear, the countless injuries, the miles and miles of travel and punishment his body had absorbed, it was all catching up to him in this moment. He hit the move, but it wasn't as crisp as it once was. It wasn't delivered with that same explosive power we'd seen a decade ago. And when he went for the cover, when the referee counted 1, 2, and that shoulder came up just before 3, you could see something break inside John Cena. Not defeat, not surrender, but the realization that time waits for no one, not even Superman. The final sequence of the match was poetry in motion, counters and reversals, near falls that had the entire arena gasping. And then, whether Cena won or lost that night doesn't even matter anymore, because what came next transcended the result. The bell rang, the match was over. And John Cena stood in the center of that ring, breathing hard, sweat pouring down his face, looking around at the thousands of fans on their feet giving him a standing ovation that seemed to shake the very foundation of the building. He took his time. He pointed to sections of the crowd, mouthing thank you over and over again. You could see his eyes getting wet. You could see him trying to hold it together, trying to be strong for everyone watching. But the emotion was overwhelming. This was really it. This was really goodbye. And as the music hit and the celebration began, Cena stood there soaking it all in, trying to memorize every face, every sound, every feeling. And then the music stopped, the lights came up a bit brighter, and the crowd, who had started to settle down, suddenly erupted again. Because walking down that ramp, with purpose and emotion written all over his face, was Triple H. The Game. The King of Kings. The man who had battled Cena in some of the most memorable matches of the modern era. The man who had transitioned from in-ring competitor to the executive guiding WWE's future. And he wasn't coming out for a speech. He wasn't coming out for an angle. He was coming out as a friend. Triple H climbed into the ring, and the two men stood there, just staring at each other. The history between them was palpable. You could feel it radiating through the screen. They had been rivals. They had been opponents. They had pushed each other to limits neither thought possible. But more than that, they had been brothers in this business. They had shared locker rooms and bus rides and hotel lobbies. They had both carried the weight of this industry on their backs. And now, at this moment, there was nothing left to prove. No championships on the line. No WrestleMania main event to build toward. Just two men who understood what the other had sacrificed. Hey, real quick, if this story is hitting you the way it's hitting me, if you're feeling that lump in your throat and that warmth in your chest, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Drop a comment telling me your favorite John Cena memory. And make sure you're subscribed to SLAMZONE because we break down moments like this with the respect and passion they deserve. This is your community. This is your family. And we need you here. Triple H extended his hand. Cena looked at it, and for a second, you could see him processing everything. All the battles. All the wars. All the blood and sweat they'd left in rings just like this one. And then Cena took his hand. The handshake was firm, respectful. And then, without hesitation, Triple H pulled Cena in for an embrace. And brother, when I tell you the entire arena lost it, I mean people were openly weeping. Grown men had tears streaming down their faces. Kids were holding onto their parents. Because this wasn't acting. This wasn't a performance. This was real. This was two legends acknowledging each other's greatness in the purest way possible. They held that embrace for what felt like forever. You could see Triple H saying something into Cena's ear, but the cameras couldn't pick it up. Whatever it was, it made Cena nod and squeeze tighter. And when they finally pulled apart, Triple H raised Cena's hand high in the air, presenting him to the crowd one final time. The ovation was thunderous. It was beautiful. It was everything a retirement moment should be. But it wasn't over yet. Triple H grabbed a microphone, and the crowd hushed, eager to hear what the game had to say. His voice cracked slightly as he began to speak. He talked about the first time he stepped into the ring with Cena. How he knew immediately that this kid had something special. He talked about watching Cena evolve from a young upstart into the face of the company. He talked about the pressure, the expectations, and how Cena never once complained. Never once took a night off. Never once gave anything less than 110%. And then Triple H said something that hit differently. He said, "John, you didn't just carry this company. You carried all of us. Every single person in that locker room looked at you and knew that if you could do it, we could do it too. You set the standard. You raised the bar. And because of you, WWE is stronger than it's ever been." The crowd erupted again, and Cena just stood there, trying so hard not to completely break down in front of everyone. Triple H continued, his voice steadier now but no less emotional. He talked about legacy. He talked about what it means to be a champion not just in the ring but in life. And he said that when future generations of wrestlers are taught what it means to be a professional, what it means to be a locker room leader, what it means to be the absolute best version of yourself, they'll study John Cena. They'll watch his matches. They'll read his interviews. And they'll understand that greatness isn't just about talent. It's about heart. It's about dedication. It's about showing up every single day and giving everything you have. Cena finally took the microphone, and you could hear the emotion in every word. He thanked the fans. He thanked his family. He thanked everyone who had ever believed in him. But then he turned to Triple H and said something profound. He said, "I wouldn't be standing here without you. You pushed me. You challenged me. You made me better. And now, watching you lead this company, watching you build the future, I know WWE is in the right hands." The two embraced again, and this time, there was no letting go quickly. This was a moment of genuine brotherhood, of mutual respect earned through years of shared sacrifice. And when they finally separated, Triple H did something unexpected. He took off his suit jacket and draped it over the ring ropes. Then he stood in the center of the ring with Cena, and together, they raised their arms in the air. Two generations, two eras, two legends united in this perfect moment. The show went off the air with that image. Triple H and John Cena, standing side by side, with the crowd chanting, "Thank you Cena," at the top of their lungs. And as the lights dimmed and the broadcast faded to black, you realized you had just witnessed something you'd never forget. This wasn't just a retirement. This wasn't just a goodbye. This was a celebration of everything that makes professional wrestling beautiful. The storytelling, the emotion, the connection between performer and audience, the brotherhood that exists behind the curtain. All of it came together in one perfect, unforgettable moment. So let me ask you something. Are you subscribed to SLAMZONE yet? Because if you're not, you're missing out on a community that treats wrestling with the reverence it deserves. We don't just recap matches. We celebrate the art form. We honor the legends. We break down the moments that make us feel something real. So hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, drop a comment and let me know how this moment made you feel, and share this video with someone who needs to be reminded why we love this business. Because moments like Triple H and John Cena, those are the moments we live for. Those are the moments that remind us why wrestling will always matter. Welcome to SLAMZONE. Welcome home.